Okay, I hope everyone is fasting. Shavas B'Tammuz Shnas Tov Shin Pei Daled. We're beginning a new parak, Perek Cheskas Habatim. It's the most famous parak in Basra, in Yeshiva. When they learn Basra, inevitably everyone learns Cheskas Habatim. It's unique in the sense that Rashi leaves us after the first blot, and for the rest of the remaining 150 odd blot in the Masechta, we will be accompanied by the Rashbam. As a result, the Gedafim are considerably smaller because the Rashbam wrote much more be'arichos than Rashi did. So from a Daf Yomi standpoint, for people who don't have to prepare the share, I guess it's good. For people who have to go through all the Rashbams, well, listen, we're going to do the best we can. Okay, so we're familiar with the Chazaka of Shalei Shanim. We met it quite a few times, that if a person is on a land for 3 years, and a person with certain addendums. He has to have a taina. He can't squat on a land for 3 years and the guys show up and say, "What are you doing on my land?" If he says, "No one said anything to me," that's not a koyach taina. It has to be that you sold it to me or you gave it to me b'matana. And if the other person would say, "Where's your proof? Where's your shtar?" After 3 years, we're going to see the person is not expected to go ahead and keep the shtar. That's the chazaka of Shalei Shanim, and it's different than chazaka that we use in other terms, just to contrast. And one which we'll meet in this Masechta, we met in the Masechta Kedushin that karka is nikna b'kesev shtar b'chazaka. And how is chazaka? You have to go ahead and do an action in the land. You have to do an action in the land. That's the chazaka of the kinyan chazaka. Masha'en kain, the kinyan by Shalei Shanim is not anything to do with the land. It has very much to do with eating the fruit of the land, where a person would not allow another individual to eat his fruit. So the Ritva contrasts the two. By the chazaka, if a person goes down to a piece of land and eats the fruit in order to acquire the land, he won't acquire the land. To acquire the land, he has to do an action. Noel b'fanela tikkun, he has to do something in the karka itself. Masha'en kain, when it comes to cheskas Shalei Shanim, actually it's not the kinyan, but the proof that it's going to be yours is the fact that no person is going to hang around and watch another person eat his payers. That's going to bother him very much. So that's one inyan. Another inyan of chazaka is we speak about jurisdiction. If you have something in your possession, if it's metaltlin, the assumption is it's yours. If you have it, it's yours. People don't write shtaros on metaltlin. So that's the chazaka. We keep it. It's yours. You know, if we have a suffix, cheskas marikama, it was in your jurisdiction, we assume that it was yours. In order for me to take it out from you, it's hamotzi mechavero alav lehevi araya. A person who wants to go ahead and extract metaltalin has to bring a proof to go ahead and take it out from the other person. That's not so necessarily by karka. The karka doesn't like this. The fact that you're in the karka doesn't necessitate that it is yours. The fact that you're on your karka does not necessitate it's yours, as we see. Right, that a person has to have a shtar. If you don't have a shtar, it's right. We're going to go to the cheskes marikama. We're going to go back and say, well, who had it before? It was known that this person had it. It was his field. It's going to be his field. Okay, this is just to explain the term chazaka, right? But cheskes Shalei Shanim is different than any the chazakas that we're used to. The cheska of being in your rishus, the chazaka of kinyan. It's a very long parak. Again, Daf Yomi, we will go pretty quick. But we'll try to go ahead, hit it in there, go ahead and give a little flavor to the parak. So Hatzlacha Rabba, we begin parak Daf Chav Ches in Cheskas Habatim, parak Shlishi in Cheskas Habatim, parak Gimel. Cheskas Habatim, the chazaka of Batim, in other words, that you've been there for 3 years and therefore it's going to be yours if you have a taina. These are all different types of water cisterns. One's oval, one's elongated, one has a roof. You're using this to go ahead for a water source, usually to irrigate your field. And those are we're familiar with the word the coop, right? With pigeon coops. Which are what? Bath houses. Ubeis habadim is an olive press. Ubeis hashlachin is a field that has to be irrigated. Is a field that has to be irrigated. The havadim and avadim. The chol davar shehu. I'm adding the bach. The chol davar shehu oisa peiris tadir, and anything that does peiris all the time. Cheskos is shalosh shonim. The chazaka is shalosh shonim, and it's miyoim liyoim. It's what? It's from day to day. In other words, it's from this day, 365, day to day. It's got to be, I say 365. Maybe it's a lunar year, but it has to be from day to day. Let's see Rashi here. Beis Hashlachin, since it has a fountain, a water source in it, that you use to irrigate it, tadir all the time. Tadir. It's going to make Paris all the time. In other words, right? It's going to make Paris all the time. Now, I'm going to see this guy using the field all the time and not say anything. That's kind of a heads up that guess what? That he must be the field. In other words, if the field is not doing anything and you walk by and you see a guy squatting in your field in the middle of the winter, if you're not bent out of shape, you can pass by and say nothing. If you see the guy working your field and not say anything, that's a statement, guys. That's a statement. So these are things that they use all the time. Anything that is used all the time, and therefore there's a svara to say, if the person sees it and doesn't say anything, that it must be yours. The chazaka wad is 3 years. Now, I think just for a second, to spend a second on this, or a little more, there's a good question over here, guys. I have a field. I see Benji in my field. He's hoeing. He's working. He's got shars in there. I'm not going to open my mouth for 3 years. It's not going to irk me like crazy when I see that. L'chayra, right? L'chayra, if I don't say anything, it's a ganz good raya that it must be Benji's field. After all, I wasn't moicha. I didn't say anything. Guys, if you're moicha, the 3 years are off. From the time of the mechia, we stop. If Benji would be on that field for 6 months and I go ahead and say something to him, start the clock again. It stops. So it must be that I didn't say anything. It must be I didn't say anything. And it has to be that I knew about it, guys. If I didn't know about it, if I was incarcerated or something, again, it has to be that I knew about it, I didn't say anything. So be'emes, says the Ramban, a geshmaka svara. Says the Ramban, be'emes, right away, the fact that I didn't say anything is a huge hoichacha, a huge mumdana, the muchach, that Benji, it belongs to him, guys. I'm walking by, he's doing it, I don't say anything. So that's hoichacha. So where does the 3 years come in? Because Benji's got a reyesa. Benji doesn't have a shtar. Benji doesn't have a shtar. In other words, I go over now, and within 3 years, and I say to Benji, I walk by 1,000,000 times, and I say, Benji, what are you doing there within 3 years? And you say, I bought it from you. I said, where's your shtar? And you don't have it? Exit stage left, you're gone. You hear? You hear? Because you have a reyesa too. So that I allowed you to be in the field already is a chacha, that is your field. The fact that you don't have a shtar is a reyesawat that, now very geschmack. You know why Cheskes Shalosh Shonim works? Because after 3 years, you're not expected to have the shtar. Says the Ramban, so you take away the reyesa. And what are you left with? The fact that I allowed you on my field to go ahead and work and not say anything. That's the way the Ramban explains it. That's the way the Ramban explains it. The fact that that after 3 years, the reyesa of shtar is gone. Where's my shtar? Well, if the person can lose it after 3 years, you're not expected to keep it. Once the reyes is gone, the fact that I let you work there is a umdana mukach, that it's your field. That's the way the Ramban explains the concept of shalosh shonim. It's very geschmack. Continues Rashi. B'chol davar shu peris tadeh cheskos and gimel shonim yom liyom. Im hichzik ba shalosh shonim shleimus. Get 3 complete years. Yom shleimus, complete years. Ain't tzarich lehevi shtar mechira. He doesn't have to bring Benji, would not have to bring a shtar mechira. And if I complain and say it's my field, you sold it to me, and I lost my shtar. The fact that he was on there for 3 years helps him. V'imlav ein cheskos me'elis lo. If he's not up there for 3 years, it doesn't help him. Lefisha k'she'amru gimel shonim l'chazaka kol aroi lotzes mimenu b'gimel shonim amri. When we say gimel shonim l'chazaka kol roi lotzes mimenu b'chazaka. In other words, imlav, if it doesn't produce something, v'imlav, meaning if it doesn't produce stuff, it doesn't produce peiros, ein cheskos me'elis lo, then the chazaka of 3 it doesn't help. It means that it has to produce stuff for 3 years. It's not, we say gimel shana, it means gimel shana of production. So therefore, fellas, if it's producing all the time because it has a base of shlachin, then the 3 years is a chazaka. If it doesn't produce all the time, then we'll see. Okay, back in the Mishnah. Stay habal. Now, stay habal is a field that you need rainwater from. So the base habal it's called. Now, base habal, so it doesn't do peiros all the time, only once a year. So now, every crop will be considered a year. Rashi, stay base habal, hamistapekes make a shomim that uses rainwater. Eino oisa peiros ela pamachas b'shana, once a year. Cheskosa gimel shonim, and you don't need day to day. You don't need shanim shleimus. And we'll see in a second what the chazaka is. So, one that is used all the time, then it's miyam liyom shleimus. One that's going to produce only a little bit, it doesn't make peiros tadir, then it's going to be, the chazaka is going to be the crop itself, as we see right now. Cheskosa shal shanim miyam liyom. Rabbi Yishmael Omer, Gimel Chadashim Berishayna, the last 3 months of year 1. Gimel Ma'achroina, the first 3 months of year 3. U'shnei Mesach Chodesh Be'emtzer, and 12 in the middle. So that's a total lot of 18. Har Yudches Chodesh Tosis is, what's it coming to teach me? We know how to count. Okay, anyway, guys, you hear, this field only produces a crop once. So Benji's in this field, and I watch him have a crop. In the last 3 months of year 1, a full year goes by, and then the first 3 months of year 3, and there was, again, it's not producing crops all the time. In that scenario, those 3 years will be a chazaka. Those 3 years will be a chazaka because it should have been meicha, since it doesn't go ahead and produce crops all the time. Each crop in itself is a year. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Chodesh B'Rishayna, Chodesh B'Achrayna, the last month of the first year, the first month of the last year, Yud Beis Chodesh Be'emsa, and 12 in the middle. Hari Yud Dalet Chodesh, it's a total of 14 months. So 14 and 18. Amar Rabbi Yishmael b'Medamar Amurim, that's b'stei Lavan. That's by a stei Lavan that you need months. That's a stei Lavan that you need months. Stei Lavan, guys, always remember, is a crop field. Is Lavan, like wheat is white. So that's the way to remember it. Wheat is white. So stei Lavan. Then 18, 14. Aval b'stei Elon, says Rabbi Yishmael, if it's an orchard, koneses tfuasoi, he goes ahead and he harvests his gefanim, he harvests his tfu here means grapes. Umasik azes, he harvests his olives. The kones es kaitzoi, and he goes ahead and he brings in his te'enim, his dried figs. Hari elu gimel shonim. That will be considered what? 3 years. That will be considered 3 years. Says Rashi. The last one, Umasika Zesa of the Kones is Kaitzai. Te'enim likate the Yavshan ba. Te'enim, he gathers them and dries them out. V'yasa Ketziyos, he makes them Ketziyos. V'achnisim lebeis bayis. Harizu chazaka kilu hein gimel shonim. These 3 crops is mamish like 3 shonim. Again, these are once a year crops. Once a year crops. Since they're by wheat, you have winter wheat, summer wheat, okay, but by crops, by the tios, but if you're going to go ahead and allow it's picked out throughout the year. The guy's not going to let it go by and have him go ahead and take these crops. So we have 3 distinct dinim in the Mishnah. The first din of the Mishnah, anything that makes peiros all the time, 3 years, miyayim liyayim. Anything that doesn't make peiros all the time, right? If it's a stay lavan, it'll make periodically, or and it's a beis habal that it's irrigated by water, so it doesn't make all the time. Then we have a machlokes how long it has to be. According to Rabbi Shmuel, 18 months, 3, 12, 3. According to Rabbi Kiva, 14 months, 1, 12, 1. When is this said Rabbi Shmuel? It's by a stay lavan. But however, by a field that is a netia, meaning it's an orchard and it's produced different fruit, then each fruit itself would be considered zechalein, its own mat, its own chazaka. Each one would be considered its own chazaka. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan. Shamati meholche Usha. Usha is one of the places where the Sanhedrin went in Galus, right? Rashi brings Asur Golias Gols Sanhedrin Miyavne Leusha Miyusha. So I heard from the people who were holche Usha. Shayu Oimrim Minayin lechazaka. How do you know chazaka? Shehi Gimel. How do you know this chazaka? How do you know it's Gimel? How do you know it's not less? How do you know it's not more? Giving an arbitrary number, guys, right? The giving an arbitrary number, 3. Where did they come up with that number 3? Okay, so we're all familiar with Baba Kama, with Shar Hamuid, right? We saw Shar Hamuid, a Shar that goes 3 times. Shar that goes 3 times. So the Gemara now, for the rest of the daf, is going to go ahead and make a parallel between Shar Hamuid and Cheska Shalosh Shanim that we learned now from Shar Hamuid. And the Gemara is going to ask, if we learn from Shar Hamuid, then the halachas of Gimel Shanim should parallel that of Shar Hamuid, despite the fact we're going to see they don't. So it says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan, Shemati meholche Usha, shayomrim minayin lechazaka shehi Gimel Shanim, mishar Hamuid. You learn that what from Shar Hamuid. Mashar Hamuid kiven shenagach Gimel legichos. Since it goes what? It goes 3 times. Nafik le micheskas tam. It leaves the cheskas of tam that pays chatzi nezek. We come le becheskas muid, and now it's going to pay what? Nezek shalem. Achanami, kiven the achla klashnin. Since he ate the crops for 3 years, nafik le rishus meicher. It leaves the rishus of the meicher. The kaimela rishus lekeach, and now it's in the rishus of the lekeach. Okay, therefore, you notice we have a change of status. Just like 3 years changes the status from a tam to a muid, 3 times, so too 3 years changes the status of the field from that of the meicher to the lekeach. If you'll ask, imashar amuid ad negicha revius loy mechayev, until the 4th negiach in achayev, guys, it goes once, twice, 3 times. It's the 4th time it's going to be a muid on, right? So maybe it's until the 4th year. If that's your source, again, we're going to parallel the Gimel Shonim of Chazaka to Shar Muid. It should go ahead and have this similar halacha to Shar Muid. Ad Negich Revius Levechayev. Hachanami at Shot Shnar Revius until the 4th year. Like Kaimer B'Shus say it should not go to Rishus Lekeach. Says the Marhachi Hashta. How can you go ahead and compare the two? Hasam over there. From the time it's Negeach 3 times, it's a muid. It's a muid. In other words, its status is completely changed. Why do you need the 4th Negicha for, guys? For the nafkamina in halacha that you're going to pay Nezek Shalem. The status has changed already. It's not the same shar. You need the 4th time to impact what? The halacha, which is to pay Nezek Shalem. Amid Beis. The idach kiloi nagach, and the 4th time, if it doesn't gore, my mishalim. Hacha, even the achla tlas shnin tlashnei kaimalam b'shusei. Very nice distinction. Again, guys, what's the theme of the Gemara is, if we're learning out chazaka shalosh shanim from Shar Muid, it should parallel the halachas of Shar Muid. A shar is only a muid when it on the 4th time, when it pays the 4th time. The Gemara says, no, it's a muid right away. It doesn't pay till the 4th time. It's a muid right away. Masha'en came regarding this person being the owner of the field, gaining jurisdiction of the field. That happens immediately after 3 years. He's not supposed to go ahead and watch his star. Okay. Elamiata. Chazaka sheni mok taina. Tabi chazaka. So as we're going to see in this parak, in order for a field, the cheska shalosh shanim to work, is you have to have a claim on the field. In our case, Benji's on the field. I come to Benji. He said, Benji, what are you doing on the field? He goes, listen, I saw it was empty. No one was. It was abandoned. I needed a place, and I went in there, and I've been there for 3 years. You could be there for 10 years. It doesn't make a difference. If you're squatting, it doesn't make a difference. You need a taina. A chazaka she'eni matana lehavi chazaka. If Benji says, I bought it from you, then it would depend. Within 3 years, where's your star? After 3 years, you're not expected to have it. Good chazaka. Guys, if you're learning from Shar Mu'id, what do you care about a taina or not? What do you care about taina or not? Fred the Gemara Kasha. Elamiata. If you're going to learn from Shar Mu'id, chazaka sheni mataina havi chazaka. A chazaka that does not have a taina with it should be a good chazaka. Says Rashi, why? Havi chazaka da armish sholosh shanim mafkele mishus meicher. Guys, what was the tushtel? Guys, what was the tushtel? Just like the shor, after 3 times, leaves being the shor and nichnas what into being what? A tam. It's nichnas being a mu'id. So too, after 3 years, the field morphs into being the Rishus L'Lekeach. So what do you need a taina for? If the limud is 3, and you're learning out from the 3 of mu'id to what? The 3 of Gimel Shanim, just like a mu'id, right? Automatically after the 3rd time, it's a mu'id. Here, automatically after 3 years, it should be Benji's. Nothing to do with a taina. That's the Gemara's kasha. Right? That's the Gemara's kasha. Now, it's a kasha, it's not a starker kasha, because obviously there's a big difference. If you don't have a taina, how can you be on the land? But the limud is, if you're learning just arbitrarily the number, this exact number of 3 changes the status. So by the field, also 3 should change the status, regardless of the taina or not. Again, look at Rashi again one more time. Tahavi chazaka, the armit sholish shanim mafkele mishus meicha. You said 3 years takes it out of the rishus of the meicha, just like 3 times takes it out of the rishus of the ham to be a mu'id. And for the Gemara, time amai. What's the reason? You need? What's the reason? Time amai. What's the reason you need a taina? Darminon dilmo kidaka armit. Right? Maybe it's what, like he says, Rashi. Umeshani time amai. Arminon sholish shanim mafkele mecheskas marakama. Darminon dilmo kidaka armit iu. Right? Maybe it's like the guy said it. I bought it in Chal. You stole it from me. They ain't only yoidim ma'emes. You don't know the truth. In me, isya chazaka sholish shanim. In me, we don't know. So another, we don't know who to believe. Asya cheska sholish shanim umukile b'shusoy comes when cheska shanim and puts him in the rishus of the guy who said I bought it. Raminon dilma kushtahu de ka'amar. And therefore we could say what? He told the truth. Ava b'loy taina mehechen kana b'shvil achila sholish shanim. Without a taina, where can he go ahead and acquire it for 3 years? Outside, guys, outside. Let's say he didn't make a claim. How does it work? You don't know who to believe. What do we do by karka if you don't know to believe? We keep it by laser stern. He was the owner. We knew he was the owner. He lived there for years. No one ever made a claim. It's his property. We know for sure it's laser stern's property. Now we find Benji Greenfield on this property. We find Benji Greenfield on the property. Benji doesn't say a blessed thing. Doesn't say anything. You're going to tell me that automatically it's become Benji's? The only reason to say it's Benji's is because he said he bought it. I say he stole it. He said he bought it. Comes along 3 years and says, guess what? He bought it. But if he doesn't make that claim, we're going to claim for him he bought it? So it doesn't make any sense that Shalosh Shanim would work in that instance. Even though, in other words, when does it leave my Rishus and go into Benzi's Rishus? If it's a company with a taina. If it's not a company with a taina, of course it doesn't leave my Rishus. Again, Cheskas Marikama holds weight. And if you don't make a claim, it's going to stay. By Shar, by Tam to Mu'id, it leaves because it's a physical change in the Tam. He went ahead, he gored 3 times. We will now view him as a Mu'id. There was a physical change. Over here, you want to say automatically 3 years goes ahead and makes that? That's not the way it works, the 3. The 3 doesn't automatically make the change from me to Benji. The 3 makes that what? accompanied with a reason that perhaps Benji's telling the truth, it works. Without that, it doesn't work. Because as we're answering, it's not like you thought. It's not totally comparable to Shara Mu'id. Shara Mu'id, it changes automatically. Over here, it doesn't change automatically like you thought in the Kasha. It doesn't change automatically. It changes only as a result. Perhaps Benji's telling the truth. That's like state in Rashi. Says the Gemara again, one more time. Umishani, time amai, what's the reason that we say after 3 years it stays by Benji? Maybe it's like he said, that he stole it, that he bought it. He's not saying he bought it. And we should claim for him. Makes no sense. Okay, so we try two comparisons to what? To Shar Hamuid, to Cheska Shalashanim, right? The first one that you should need the fourth time. We did away with that because that's only Indian, it's a mu'ud already. That's only Indian payment. We now question why the need for a taina, and we answered beautifully with the lumdis that there's no way, it's not the actual 3 years that creates it, it's perhaps he's telling the truth, why? Because he has a claim. And therefore, since after 3 years, person's not expected to watch a shtar. Says the Gemara Vaita. Maskala Ravira. Elameyata. If you're learning out from Shara Mu'id. Macha shalei b'fanav. Loi tahavi macha. Dumya de Shara Mu'id. Now, Benji's on my land. I'm in Israel. Benji's there. I get a phone call from my good friend Harold. Harold says, "Hey, Lace, how you doing?" I said, "Great." I said, "How's my field?" He goes, "Yeah, it's interesting. I just walked by and there was a guy in the field." "Really? Great." I go to Besdin and I make a macho in Eretz Yisrael. That what? Right? I make a macho in Eretz Yisrael. That what? It's what? It's good macho. It's good macho. And right now, Benji, if he really did buy the field, here's the macho. He should go ahead, heads up, keep an eye on that star. Again, you hear already that Lazy is going to go ahead and make a claim. But we know by Shar Hamuid, the Ha'ada has to be b'fanav. It has to be in front of the owner. But who would be bolov? So again, if you can make the parallel to Shar Hamuid, fellas, just like by Shar Hamuid, the who would be bolov, it has to be in front. So too, my macho would have to be in front of Benji. It should not help in front of Shalei b'fanav. That's the Gemara's kasha. Again, the Gemara is taking ideas that we're going to mention these ideas later on. It's just taking them and using them as a means of questioning the parallel, the limud from Shara Mu'id. So Fred the Gemara, Maskal Rav Aviro Elamiata, if you tell me you're learning from Shara Mu'id, if I make a claim Shlei B'Fonov, it should not be good. I mean, right? And don't mean the Shara Mu'id, Ma Shara Mu'id B'Fonov Binin, Afachnami B'Fonov Binin, you should need B'Fonov. Says Gemara, no. Chasam v'huad b'balov ksiv. Here it says v'huad b'balov. Hacha over here, chavra islay. Your friend has a friend. The chavra islay. He's going to find out about it. Says Rashi. Chavra a little down before it gets wide. The chavra islay. The yom muzel is there. One person will tell the other. V'adav boy la'ozna. And Benji's eventually going to hear. Ve'ini yachal loymar ilu shamati hayisi zohar b'rayis uchasi. Had I known that he made a macha, I would have gone ahead and watched my shtar more carefully. So therefore, the whole purpose of the whole purpose is to heads up to Benji to watch a shtar. That's accomplished. You don't need to be fun of. By shar mu'id, it's because a kosif. You need the huad b'bolov, so he should watch a shar. You need a huad b'bolov, should watch a shar. Over here, you don't even fun of that he has to watch a shtar. That would be accomplished by chavra the chavra islay. Now, we some achloikis in Masechta Baba Kama, guys, whether a shar is after 3 days or 3 times. Rabbi Yehuda says 3 days, and Rabbi Meir says 3 times. Rabbi Meir says 3 times. So if we're going to go ahead and compare and learn out from what Shar Hamuid and like the Shitas Rabbi Meir, it should be enough much earlier. That's Gemara's next kasha. Rabbi Meir the Omar, like Rabbi Meir that says, Richak nigi chaysav chayev. If you go ahead and distance your shtoisin chayev, kiev nigi chaysav the kol shekain. If they come in much closer proximity, like certainly you should be chayev, right? Therefore, achla tilsa peri b'chad yuma. if you eat 3 peiris in one day, guys, a shtar according to Meya, gores 3 times in one day is a mu'id. Therefore, if the parallel is correct, if you eat 3 offerings of peiris in one day, it should be a good chazaka, if you're making that parallel. Achla tilsa peri b'chad yuma, going te'ena lahavi chazaka. Now, he picks te'ena, because te'ena is what is they ripen at different times. They're not picked together at the same time. Says the Gemara, and for the Gemara, dumya deshar. Hamuid, mashar hamuid be'idna de'islei hai negicha lesa lahai negicha. Hachanami be'idna de'islei lahai peri lesa lahai peri. Okay, we're still making the parallel, guys, outside. We're still making the parallel between Shar HaMu'id and Gimel Shanim. You're asking like the Shita of Reb Meir, that just like Reb Meir says 3 times in one day should go ahead and make you into a Mu'id, so too 3 Achilas of Peiris in one day should go ahead and create a Chazaka. Problem. When you gored the first time, was the other goring in the world? No, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. So when you ate this peri, was the other peri in the world? Yeah. Yeah. So therefore, it's not similar to Shar HaMu'id. Shar HaMu'id, the reason why it's 3 times, each one is a separate time. I went ahead, I gored. Totally independent, I gored. Totally independent, I gored. Over here, I eat peiris, and there's still peiris there, and I eat those, and I eat those. Therefore, that is the difference between that and Shar HaMu'id. That's why it will not be 3 times in one day. Vibal what? It's there. Vibal, it's there, since it's there on one day. Fred the Gemara, okay, what about if I can create a peri very quickly? Achla tilsa peri, if you eat 3 peiris, biyoim echad, kigoin slaf, lahavi chazaka. We meant it slaf, guys. That's the caper berry. So it seems that 3 can grow. One, when you eat one, the other one's not there. When you eat the second one, it's not there. You eat the third one, it's not there. Then you'd have the exact same correlation to Shar HaMu'id. So therefore, in a caper berry, if the guy is on a field with a caper bush, it should be a chazaka. It says, the caper berry is there. And it just ripens quickly. But when you ate the first one, it was there already, the second one. You just didn't see it. It wasn't gamar. So it's not like shot, like by the second, the kicha wasn't in the world at all. Here, the caper berry was in the world. It just wasn't complete yet. And therefore, it appears as if it wasn't in the world, but it was. So again, we can't have a case for that should be cheska shalosh shanim in one day, chilas peiris in one day. Okay, now I'm going to give you a case, but it's not going to be in one day. It's going to be in 30 days. Achla tilsa peri b'tilsin yoima kigoin aspasta. If you eat 3 aspastas in 30 days, it should be what? Lahavi chazaka. Right? Aspasta is a type of zera they would give to animals. And at the end of 30 days, it's complete. They would go then be oikarit and replant another one, and another 30 days. And there you could do that 3 times. Rashi, aspasta, min zerahu, le'esav behemais, l'seif lam yoim hu nigmar. It's completed after 30 days. V'oikrin isai. They go ahead and take it out. V'zoyrin achabim komo, when they plant another one in its place. Umitoich shlashim yoim, and within 30 days, guys, in I saw shalish pamim. You can go ahead and cut it off. Within 30 days, I can cut it off 3 times. So l'chayra, in 30 days, I should have 3 separate achilas. Again, it grows in 30 days. So let's say it grows a little bit, I uproot it, eat it. Grows a little bit again, uproot it, eat it. Grows a little again, uproot it. Within 30 days, I would add 3 achilas. So if you learn from Shar HaMu'id, why do I need 3 years? Right? Why do I need 3 years? I could go ahead and accomplish what this in 3 days. In 30 days, excuse me. Right? I can accomplish this what? I can accomplish this what in 30 days. So again, according to Shitas Reb Meir, Why do I need 3 years? L'chayra, if I learn from Shara Mu'id 3 times, and I can go ahead and over here, it's not going to be in the world. After I do the first aspasta, the second one wasn't in the world yet. After I do a second aspasta, the second one wasn't in the world yet. And I do the third aspasta, it wasn't in the world yet. And hechi dami, what would the case be? The kadiach, it grows a little bit, v'achla you eat it. Kadiach, it grows a little bit, v'achla you eat it, right? So the Gemara answers, Hasam mishamin hu dekashamet v'achol. That's not called an achila kol apri, and therefore it's not a chazaka. Yeah, what are you eating? You're eating, again, it's complete in 30 days. You're eating a third growth, you're eating a third of its growth. That's not considered an achila. That's not something that a person is going to bend out of shape about. And therefore it's not a chazaka. Fred the Gemara, achla tilsa peri betilsa yarche. If I eat 3 peris, going aspasta in 3 months, betilsa yarche going aspasta, labi chazaka. Okay, now you got a great kasha, guys. Aspasta takes how many days to grow? 30 days. I let it grow its full growth cycle, 30 days. I eat it. I then go ahead another 30 days and eat a second complete aspasta. And so on the third time around. Why do I need 3 years? It should be enough 90 days, 3 months. It should be enough 3 months. And this is a good kasha. And this is a winning kasha. This is a winning kasha. So man, oichle usha. Who's the oichle usha? The Rabbi Yochanan said is the makar of chazaka is Shara Mu'id. It's Rabbi Yishmael. It's Taka Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yishmael hachanami. Rabbi Yishmael ein hachanami. He would hold if you go ahead and eat in 3 times in 3 months, it would be a good chazaka. So your kasha, guys, is not a kasha because the one who learned from Shara Mu'id says ein hachi nami. You do not need 3 years. You could accomplish 3 achilas peiros of aspasta in 3 months. In 3 months, it would be a good chazaka. So the whole Usha who Taka learned out from Shara Mu'id, in fact, do agree with you. They do agree with you. Rabbi Shmuel Hachanami Titnan. Rabbi Shmuel Oimer. When do you need what? It's 3 years miyam liyoim. That's bistei halavan. That's in a wheat field. Aval bistei ilon. But if it's a field of trees, of fruit, konas est fuasai, you go ahead and eat the geffen. You go ahead and eat the geffen. Umaski as zeisov, and you harvest the olives. The konas is ketza, and you bring in the dried figs. And in that case, if you do all those things, hari elu shalosh shanim, this would be a chazakawat of shalosh shanim. Okay, this would be a chazakawat of shalosh shanim. So according to Rabbi Yishmael, the dimyan to Shar Hamuid stays. According to the Rabbanan who disagree Rabbi Yishmael, we're going to have to see where their truth is. Because it can't be Shar HaMu'id. For Shar HaMu'id, you should not need 3 years. Like the Shitas Reb Meir. You should not need 3 years. It should be what? Accomplished in a much shorter period of time.